Good evening and welcome to Central Square's Class of 2020 Commencement Ceremony. At this time, our senior vocal jazz members will perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Caitlin Fredenberg, the Vice President of the Class of 2020, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You did it. You're a graduate from the Paul B. Moore High School Class of 2020. It's been quite a year, but your education is not just about one final year. You've accomplished so much more from elementary to middle to high school. You celebrated with kindergarten graduations, 5th grade moving up, 9th grade orientations, and now graduation. You attended sporting events, field band competitions, winter guard, and concerts. Your work has been featured in art shows and the yearbook. You were members of clubs and cheered with the flock. You've cried tears of joy for championships and been by each other's side through tough times. Your challenges have made you a strong team. You will be remembered for your strength and perseverance. You have made education a priority in your life, and you now understand education is not just about content. You know it takes social, emotional strength, grit, and determination. So many of the staff members have been there to support you, especially this year, through yard sign pickup, cap and gown pickup, and graduation. They come because you are and always will be our family. They are like an extended family member who loves you, annoys you, celebrates with you, and will always be there when you need them. You are ready, and receiving this diploma lets others know your accomplishments. Some of you plan to head right into the workforce, while others join the military or higher education. No matter what your path, what road you take, know the one that leads you home. Remember where you come from and the community who cared for you so much. We support your choices and urge you to continue to be there for each other and explore the opportunities life provides you. As one we rise, together we soar. Next, noted on our program, we would like to recognize the recipients of the President's Volunteer Service Award. These students have given of themselves to help others in need through their churches, local hospitals, fire departments, elementary schools, and with the Lions Club. While these students have already been given their service pins and their silver cords, which they were wearing today, the administrative team wanted to highlight these distinct men and women for their service to their community. Their actions and selflessness should serve as an inspiration to each of us. There are 3 levels of awards through this recognition. The Bronze Award recognizes students with 100 to 174 volunteer hours. The Silver Award recognizes students with 175 to 249 volunteer hours. The Gold Award recognizes students with 250 or more volunteer hours. Congratulations to our President's Volunteer Service Award winners. The next group of students I would like to honor and are noted in our program are those who are receiving the President's Award for Educational Achievement and Excellence. This honor is awarded to students who have achieved distinction amongst their peers, both within the classroom and on their SAT and/or ACT exam. Congratulations. Please note that students draped in blue collars are members of our National Honor Society. Students wearing a gold honor cord are graduating with a cumulative average of 85% or better. Students wearing silver honor cords are graduating with a Presidential Service Award for community service. Students wearing purple cords and pins are members of the National Career and Technical Honor Society. Students are also wearing honor award pins and their top 25 pins, which they've received over the course of their high school career. The Boy Scouts of America provides a program for young people that builds character, trains them in responsibilities of active citizenship, and develops personal fitness. For nearly a century, this organization has helped build future leaders of this country by combining educational activities and lifelong values with fun. The Boy Scouts of America believe, and they, through nearly a century of experience, know that helping youth is a key to building a more conscientious, responsible, and productive society. The rank of Eagle Scout is a pinnacle of scouting, with only 4% of scouts achieving this rank. Those students who have achieved this great honor are noted in our program, and we congratulate them. The next group of students I would like to recognize will be entering our nation's armed forces. These students and their selected military branches are noted in our program. We thank you for your service. At this time, it is my pleasure to recognize our outstanding staff member who has spent the past 4 years making high school memorable for our graduates. It is my pleasure to recognize Kristen Schaap, your 2020 Senior Class Advisor. Naomi Henderson and Isabella Heath will share a message to our senior class.
Hi, my name is Naomi Henderson. Mrs. Schaap would like me to deliver this message to you. As the class advisor, Mrs. Schaap said she had the honor and privilege of walking beside our beautiful group of young adults for the past 4 school years. It was fascinating to watch us all grow from timid and some not so timid ninth graders to strong, confident, and capable graduates. As the advisor, it was her job to orchestrate many things each year for our class. These things included fundraisers, homecoming events, hall decorating, the junior prom, 100 days till graduation, and some pieces of this graduation. She mentions these tasks and activities because she would not have been able to do any of them if not for the class officers. Over the years, there have been as many as 6 officers at one time. That may seem like too many, but as some get busy with sports, clubs, musicals, and schoolwork, others step in and continue the work. It was a nice little rhythm of some ducking out for a bit and others who had been busy with one thing or another coming back to do the work. It was not only her observation and experience, but that of so many other teachers and other staff members that this group of kids was a truly remarkable team as well as a group of individuals. It is important to her that each of them gets some recognition at this time because if it were not for them, the past 4 years would have been different for all of us and considerably difficult for her. Let me start by highlighting my best friend, Amelia Rivette. Amelia Rivette is a personable young woman. She is the type of person who asks her teachers how they are doing every day, even years after she is no longer in their class. She is a student who arrives to class early so she can carry a conversation because she is genuinely interested and she values the human connection. Amelia is a hard worker, fearless in the face of obstacles. Amelia's determination to excel has allowed her to persevere through challenging experiences. She has the faith in her abilities and she appreciates the love and support she receives from her friends and family. Most importantly, Amelia shows compassion to anyone she encounters. She has a great smile and spreads happiness with it. She has a good heart and it is easy for many to see that and love that about her. Amelia's love for those around her can be felt by anyone in her presence. Next, I'd like to talk about Ileana Weisath. Ileana Weisath is a wise beyond her years. She has grit, fortitude, and determination, and yet remains modest and humble about her abilities and her experiences. She has a strong conviction about how she lives her life, and while she is modest, she has developed a strong sense of who she is and what she believes. Family means a great deal to her, as does her country. She is proud and patriotic. Doing what is right is important to Ileana. She has tremendous character. Ileana is determined to always do her best. One of her many fantastic characteristics is her drive to succeed. She never does anything halfway. It is always her best effort. She is also extremely conscientious. Her can-do attitude and her willingness to work until the end result is correct is impressive and admirable. She is professional in her work and kind in her words and deeds. Ileana has always been thankful, grateful, and appreciative. She will always stand out as being a student who is strong-willed and intensely kind. She always found ways to bring people together. She is a solutions-oriented person. On many occasions, she brings people together in incredibly meaningful ways. Ileana is a genuine in her concern for others and for the environment. She treats everyone as though they're the most important person in the world. Her sincerity for others is her passion. She is diligent, compassionate, lighthearted, and sharp as a tack. She is always willing to put others before herself. She is down to earth, kind-souled, and her strong faith has helped her gain strength along the way. Ileana has a gift for seeing the big picture and will go far in life. Before I hand the rest of my monologue over to Isabella Heath, I'm going to tell you what people say about her. Isabella Heath is a standout in the class of 2020, not just because of her stature and comportment, but in the ways that she can't be measured with a timer or tape measure or grading rubric or a Geiger counter. It was observed when she entered high school that her depth and breadth of knowledge as well as experience was unmatched among her freshman peers. She could discuss with ease subjects as broad as Hammurabi's Code and its reflection in modern legal statutes, and the trends of old like silly bands and soundtrack to Hamilton. She knew innately when to be sarcastic and silly, when to buckle down, sit up straight, and write her sales. She can attribute all of these things to Isabella's maturity. Isabella is one of the few who not only accepts constructive criticism and being challenged, but actually thrives on it and wants to improve through it. According to her teachers, she has taken these moments of correction and used them to create a better version of herself. Isabella wants to master work, improve work, and thrive in the process. Even though that may make her uncomfortable, this is a characteristic even full-grown adults have trouble working through. Again, a measure of Isabella's maturity. Additionally, Isabella has found the sweet spot of growing up in a rural town that sometimes prickles at different voices and ideologies. Through her mettle and ideas, she has learned to become the standout in the most scary way imaginable. Instead of being influenced by the people she has grown up with, Isabella influences them. She has been willing to stand up for what she knows is right and doesn't back down even when she is standing alone.
And now, Ileana Wieseth, our class of 2020 president, will address the seniors.
Dear class of 2020, I am honored to be given the opportunity to give a speech as one of your class presidents. My co-president, Michael Haywood, and I are so proud of the class of 2020. I'm truly thankful for all of the support I have received from Michael, my fellow class officers, and Mrs. Schapp. As I give this speech, I hope many of us, including myself, can positively look back on our unconventional school year and graduation. The times we are living in are challenging, especially in the midst of a global pandemic. We have been taken out of our school, not knowing what the rest of our year would look like. We don't know when we will get the chance to hug our friends again or be closer than 6 feet. I am jealous of the graduating classes before us. They knew when their last day at Paul V. Moore would be. They were able to say goodbye to their teachers, friends, and so much more. But our class has become something special. We are a class full of strong, hardworking, dedicated students. Many of us were born in the midst of a tragedy in American history. When the events of 9/11 took place, life as our families knew it changed. Our generation is currently undergoing another new normal with COVID-19. This is a difficult time for all of us, but we have to be strong and do what is best for ourselves, our community, and our nation. Many people will remember our class as the students who were quarantined or the class that graduated during a toilet paper shortage, but this class is so much more than everything going on around us. Many of our parents are left scared about the unknowns and what our future will look like. Every one of us deserves our hard work to be highlighted. This is for the sports kids, spending hours in school and going to a practice almost every day after school. Red Hawk Regiment and Drama Club members, being at every rehearsal half an hour early to set up and staying half an hour late to clean up. National Honor Society members, working hard to take leadership positions on top of schooling and home life. All the students involved in further extracurricular activities, whether it's inside or outside of the school setting. Community service members, taking the time to put other people first and ahead of their own needs. Even students who were not as involved in additional activities. You had to work hard to pass that test or turn that homework assignment in on time. Keep in mind, many of us have jobs outside of school. We are essential workers and had to face COVID-19 head on. Each of us is different. Each of us has a unique story. But when we come together, we form the class of 2020. I'm so proud of each and every one of you in this class, and I will forever be grateful about our time together. We share so many memories, joyous moments, and laughter, but we also share heartbreak, despair, and tears. It's okay that we acknowledge the milestone events that we have missed and the pain it has caused, but we should own those feelings, move forward, so we can focus on being proud of everything we have accomplished. Through the years, everything we have learned has equipped us with the necessary tools to change our world one step at a time. We are the class of 2020.
It gives me great pleasure to highlight our next outstanding students. The following awards will be presented to the top 5 graduating seniors for the class of 2020. The awards they receive are given by the high school administration, faculty, and staff in recognition for their scholastic achievements and are determined by class rank. With an overall average of 99.73, earning him principal honors, we congratulate Gabriel Peters. With an overall average of 100.05, earning her superintendent's honors, we congratulate Gabrielle Moran. With an overall average of 100.41, earning her laureate honors, we congratulate Morgan Foland. With an overall average of 100.76, earning her salutatorian honors, we congratulate Jessica Georges. And with an overall average of 101.89, the valedictorian for the class of 2020, we congratulate Emily Fallows. Congratulations to our class of 2020 top 5 seniors. At this time, the members of our vocal jazz and concert chorale will be singing Time of Our Lives by Tyrone Wells.
Years when we were here.
We have the honor here at Paul V. Moore to welcome our valedictorian, Emily Fallows, to address the class of 2020.
All right, I want to start by saying I know what it looks like. I know it looks like a 12-year-old is about to give you a speech, but I promise you that I'm 17 and perfectly qualified to be here right now. Just getting that out of the way. Now, before I get to the sappier stuff, I want to thank you guys for getting me to where I am today. If it weren't for my friends, my family, my teachers, and the people around me in general, I sincerely doubt I would have been able to accomplish what I have. I am extremely proud of each and every one of my classmates, and I hope you're proud of me as well. We've all worked hard, and this is it. We've made it. Despite everything, we're here in the present, and we're all about to embark on our own paths. I think that deserves some congratulations. We, as members of the senior class of 2020, have gone through an experience unlike any other. This year has landed us in unprecedented times. I can't ignore that or pretend that everything is business as usual. It's for that reason that I don't think this speech is a normal valedictorian's address anymore. It shouldn't be constrained to me talking to all of you, at least not today. I think it should involve us talking to the world. A world which is, right now, full of disarray and confusion, injustice and hardship. We're about to be let loose into this world, and I think we should give it a message before we're sent off. There's so much I want to say, and not enough time to say it. You should know that not all of what I'm saying is coming from me. I've had lots of input from lots of great people about what I should talk about, and I basically got this input by posting on social media along the lines of, "Hey guys, I have no idea what I'm doing, please help me out." And I learned many things from those who talked to me. The one thing I could really pick up on was this incredible sense of togetherness. Now more than ever, it's crucial that we stick together and unite in the face of turmoil. We were born in the shadow of 9/11 and grew up to face a global pandemic and racial injustice. I know all of us are wondering how in the world we stand up to what 2020 and the future will bring, but I have no doubt in my mind that we can take it. After all, we're the generation that grew up with books like The Hunger Games. I think we're all inclined to fight for what we believe in. It's essential that we don't rely on others to do our jobs for us, to make change for the better and help accomplish our dreams. I am the change. You are the change. We all are the change. You are the person who is responsible for the direction your life takes. Don't let someone else steer for you. Take the wheel and fight for what you want. I know it feels like we grew up too fast with too much on our shoulders. On top of the decision we have to make about what we want to do with the rest of our lives, the events of 2020 have just added insult to injury. But I want to give you something to think about. Lots of you know that I like Rubik's Cubes, and yes, I know, I can feel some of you rolling your eyes already, but listen, it's a good analogy. When you're solving a Rubik's Cube, you get close to the end with only a few pieces left out of place, and then you have to mess it all up again in order to finally solve it. Keep that in mind. Life needs to get messy before it gets better. We need to face our own enemies to grow. 2020 is an absolute mess. We can all agree on that. But I truly believe that we're headed towards a better world after all of this. We need to keep our heads up for the sake of our generation and ourselves. We need to show the world how successful we're going to be. The pandemic has taught me many things. It's taught me that we're more interconnected as a class and generation than I thought we were. It's taught me that we really are a social species. We want people surrounding us, helping us accomplish our goals. Although maybe not our siblings. I think quarantine may have driven me insane a little bit, so to those of you who have siblings, my heart goes out to you. But anyway, the most important lesson I've taken from this is observing the way the world has shut down. It stopped and it said, hold on, we're gonna get through this together. And I personally think that's amazing. How did it feel for you to slow down? To break away from that fast-paced routine? To just step out for a second and breathe? We live in a society that's built on constantly looking towards the future and neglecting the present. But this forced all of us to take a moment and reflect. I've learned that it's necessary to live in the moment, to appreciate what you have before it changes. We should carry this with us as we all move forward. It's okay to slow down. Experience the journey rather than the end result. Stop worrying about how you stack up against everyone else and just take everything in stride. We compare ourselves too much to each other. And I strongly believe that that does nothing but deter us from being our best selves. Yes, I'm valedictorian. Yes, this means I managed to earn the highest GPA in the class, but I ask myself, does that mean anything? I will admit that I don't believe our education system does a good job of measuring different kinds of intelligence. Does my rank in the class mean that I'm smarter than everyone else? No, absolutely not. Each of you has your own talents. Each of you has your own brain, with your own thoughts, with your own unique intelligence that no one else can replicate. I'm in the position I am today because of a combination of talent and hard work. I'm going to ask you, what can you do with your combination of talent and hard work? Don't congratulate yourself on performing better than someone else. Congratulate yourself on existing because you're doing it in a way that no one else has done before. We're all going in different directions from here on out, and I couldn't be prouder of our class. It's 2020, and we're making history. We've made it. I'm going to miss all of you, but we have made it. We're young, but we will make a difference. We're young, but we will exceed everyone's expectations. We're young, but we're strong, and we will remain resilient. We are all equal and important, and I believe in every single one of you. So go out and lead a life you'll be proud of. We have been through it all. As our motto says, as one we rise, together we soar. We are the class of 2020. We can handle anything. Thank you.
I'd like to now welcome our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Thomas Calabufo, to address the class.
Normally, I begin my graduation speeches by welcoming all of the graduates, parents, guardians, family members, and close friends, staff members, Board of Education members, and any other community member that had come out to celebrate this rite of passage with our graduates. This is obviously much different due to COVID-19 and the executive orders that the governor has set forth. There are so many things that have changed since March 13 will leave us with bad memories, more than we can count. However, years from now, when you are explaining to your children or future nieces and nephews what COVID-19 was and how it altered your milestone year, I want you to tell them that in the midst of complete panic and widespread uncertainty, your community exhibited great strength, compassion, and an overwhelming sense of community. Tell them about the massive food drives where hundreds of students, parents, staff, community members, which included Board of Education members, donated not only their time, but also over $50,000 worth of food so that every family, not just those that qualify for free and reduced meals, all had plenty of food throughout the very long school closure. Tell them about the teacher and staff parades that lasted several hours as staff drove through the neighborhoods of our district, a district that spans 3 counties and over 200 square miles because they miss their students that much. Tell them about the hundreds of emails that students wrote to their superintendent, not complaining, but rather asking him if there was anything that they could do to help the district and their community. And the hundreds of emails from students and parents thanking their teachers and other support staff for continuously going above and beyond to help the students through such a dark time. Tell them about the numerous bus drivers that wrote handwritten letters to the students on their elementary runs, and the custodians that made signs for their students and hung them in the classroom windows, showing them how much they miss them and how much they love them. And finally, tell them each of what you took that was very valuable out of the mess of COVID-19, and that is to never quit, even in the face of basically being trapped in your homes for months, isolated from your extended family and your close friends. That valuable lesson that most of you will not fully realize until you are much older will be that it taught you to take nothing for granted, to embrace and protect those relationships that you have created during your time at Central Square, and those relationships that you will make throughout your lifetime, to remember everything your parents and guardians did for you throughout the closure and how what they modeled for you will make you better parents someday. The life lessons you have all experienced over the past 3 months are greater lessons than we could have ever provided you in our mission at Central Square to empower all students to excel as citizens in a changing world. Congratulations to all of you and your hard work in achieving this milestone event. And it is now time for you to spread your wings, fellow Red Hawks, on the next stage of your journey, wherever you fly to, whether that is that you're going to stay in this amazing community or venture far from us. Always remember the lesson that your community demonstrated so well over the past 3 months. As one we rise, together we soar. I want to thank our incredible staff for their Herculean effort to not only provide students with the mandated instructional remotely, but also for their tireless efforts to show their students how much they truly care about them. And that was seen in how creatively they connected with their students throughout the entire closure. I want to recognize all of those graduates that are now entering the military academy, and ROTC, as you are continuing the rich tradition of service to our country that is so prevalent throughout our great community in Central Square. Thank you, and thank you to all of the graduates for allowing me to play a very small part in your journey.
My name is Andrew Martin, and on behalf of the entire Board of Education, it is my privilege and honor to be able to speak to you upon the commencement of your graduation from Paul V. Moore High School. I'd like to begin by asking you a question. What do you think of when you hear the class of 2020? What comes to mind when you hear about the generation that faced one of the greatest challenges that the world has ever seen? Well, let me tell you about the challenges of a generation. The world seemed to be clicking along and everything was good. Optimism was high. Recovery had occurred from a serious challenge to the economy. And then, with seemingly little warning, some kind of new plague began to spread. It was quick, it was brutal, and it was deadly. No one was safe from the impacts of the plague, and the entire world had to band together to try to keep it in check. It was a long battle and one marked with ups and downs. One day would bring about victory, while the next day would bring about what was a seemingly crushing defeat. But the resolve of the generation that faced it simply would not lessen. They battled on, and once they had claimed victory over that plague, the coming decades brought about unprecedented triumphs, advancements, and accomplishments. Now, what I described to you may seem like I'm talking about current events in your generation, but in fact, what I just described was the lives of people that lived through the Great Depression. They lived through the lead up to World War II, to the spread of Nazi Germany around the world. They also lived through D-Day and through the victory that D-Day brought about to World War II. When we think of that generation, we don't define it by the struggle of war or the results of economic collapse. We refer to them as the greatest generation. And we call them that because of what they did to overcome, to succeed, and to leave the world better than when they found it. You see, it is hard when you are in the middle of something, as all of you are, to have the perspective to believe that something good will be on the other side of what you're facing. But I am promising you that that is the case. This pandemic, this economic challenge, this time of great uncertainty, it simply will not define you. Now, it's going to draw some lines on the canvas, but you each will determine how you paint your future. In the coming months and years, challenges and obstacles that once seemed huge will simply be dwarfed by the challenges that you have already overcome. Your capacity to serve, to accept great personal sacrifice, and to go above and beyond what is even reasonably expected will lead you to amazing breakthroughs. Amazing breakthroughs in science, in medicine, in engineering, in parenting, in teaching. Well, I think you can get the idea. And so I'd like to close the way I started by asking you a question. What do you think of when you hear the class of 2020? And you know, actually, that's not the right question. It isn't about what you think of. It's about what you will make others think of when they hear the class of 2020. And I am confident that people will think of overcomers, of civil servants, of protectors of freedom and liberty, and of inspirations for future generations. And so whatever your tomorrow brings, whether that is going off to college, a job, starting a family, or military service, go into that tomorrow knowing that you are uniquely prepared to be exceptional. In fact, You are exceptional. And you are, through great determination and pride, the graduating class of Central Square, the class of 2020. Congratulations. We look forward to the great things that you will do in the coming years.
Mr. Martin, on my recommendation as principal of Paul V. Moore High School in Central Square School District, I certify that the students receiving diplomas have fulfilled all the requirements of the Central Square Central School District's Board of Education and of the State of New York Board of Regents. Will the class of 2020 please come forward?
we still graduated.
As we gaze upon our portals, stately, wide, and high, proudly stands our alma mater. May she stand for aye. Years vanish slowly, age us, still we ne'er can tear thee from memory, alma mater, thee, O central square.
Thank you, Michael Haywood, for leading us in this Central Square alma mater. For the final part of our commencement ceremony, Amelia Rivette and Emma LaSalle will lead the class of 2020 out into their awaiting futures with the tassel presentation.
As a symbolic gesture of your completion of high school, graduates, you may now turn your tassels. As a symbolic gesture of your completion of high school, graduates, you may now turn your tassel.